like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
All right, let's jump into another deep dive. This time we're taking a look at Arsenal's New Year's Day win over Brentford. Tons of articles came in about this one, and just glancing over them, it looks like a roller coaster, big comeback, a teenager stealing the show, and maybe even, I don't know, some real movement in that title race. Got our football expert here to make sense of it all, ready to dive in.
Let's go. Yeah, so many details in this one. Putting the pieces together will be fun.
For sure. Let's set the stage first, though. Arsenal were 9 points behind Liverpool going into this. This wasn't just any win, was it? They kind of needed this.
No doubt about it. Anyone can say they're in the title race. Actually proving it on the pitch, though. Especially against a team like Brentford, they've been tough to beat this year.
Yeah, and looking at these articles, it seems Brentford scored first, actually. Brian Mbeumo, just 13 minutes in. Not the start Arsenal were hoping for, eh? Especially with all that pressure.
Nope, not at all. And don't forget, Brentford had some key players out, injured. For them to take an early lead, even at home, had to shake Arsenal up a bit.
So we've got Arsenal on the ropes early. But then there's this moment, Brentford's keeper, David Raya. He almost fumbles the shot, almost lets it slip through his fingers. Recovers just in time, though. What do you make of those moments? From an expert's view, how much can those near misses change the game?
They're massive. It's not just the mistake itself. It's like the psychology of it. You see a keeper almost give a goal away, and the attackers, they get this burst of energy. Suddenly it's a second chance, and they press harder, play with more belief.
And that's exactly what happened. Not even a minute later, Arsenal ties it up. Partey's shot saved, but Gabriel Jesus is right there for the rebound. 6 goals in 4 games for him. Talk about being in the right place at the right time.
That's the difference, right, between good goal scorers and the great ones. It's not just being able to finish, it's the instinct, Jesus, he smelled that goal coming.
So halftime arrives. They're level. Second half is where it gets wild, though. 2 goals in 3 minutes. Just like that.
Clinical, pure and simple. And it wasn't just luck. The articles all show Arsenal was creating chances all game.
Right, and that pressure finally paid off. The first goal, a corner that the keeper, Flecken this time, didn't handle cleanly. Mikel Merino taps it in. Then, just moments later, Gabriel Martinelli finds the net. And get this, that young player, Ethan Nwaneri, involved in both goals. How crazy is that?
Remarkable. Yeah, no question. First league start, 17 years old, and already dictating the midfield.
You said it.
Contributing to goals in a match like this, that's something special.
My notes say his passing accuracy in the first half was ridiculous. 17 out of 17 passes completed. Plus, he created 2 chances. Only Martinelli had more. Those are some serious stats, even for a veteran player.
Oh, absolutely. It's not even just the numbers, it's the quality of those passes. He was controlling the pace, finding those pockets of space, creating dangerous chances for his teammates. To see that composure, that vision from someone so young, it's impressive, truly.
So, big picture time. What's this win mean for Arsenal? They cut the lead down to 6 points, and they have a game in hand. Are they contenders now?
Well, it certainly shakes up the title race. Liverpool's still the favorite, of course. They've got the experience, they've got the depth, they're a well-oiled machine, But this win shows that Arsenal isn't backing down.
I can only imagine the pressure on Liverpool right now. Knowing Arsenal's right there breathing down their necks. It adds another level to this whole title race, doesn't it?
For sure, for sure. Every match is crucial now. Every dropped point feels heavier. It'll be a fun one to watch, that's for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can't forget about Brentford, though. Second home loss of the season for them. But it shows a possible weakness. Only team without a clean sheet at home this season.
Right. Definitely something they'll need to fix if they want to keep that home form strong. Tough team to beat at the G-Tech Community Stadium.
Well,
but if they can't tighten up that defense at home, they're going to be vulnerable.
Okay, so huge win for Arsenal. The 17-year-old prodigy comes out of nowhere. And now the title race is wide open. But let's go deeper on Nwaneri's performance. Help me understand, how does a kid that young have such an impact in a match like this?
Well, I think it's a few things, raw talent, for sure, but also Arteta's tactics, how he set things up, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of that fearlessness you get when you're young, right? He didn't shy away from the moment, he embraced it.
So it's not just being good, it's being put in a position to succeed and having that mindset to take the opportunity.
Exactly. Credit to the player and the manager. both. And it makes you wonder, what's next for him? Is this a one-time thing, or is he the real deal?
That's the question on everyone's mind, I think. And that's exactly what we'll dig into in the next part of our deep dive.
Picking up where we left off, this match, it was a real tactical battle between Arteta and Brentford's manager, Thomas Frank.
I was actually just going to ask about that. Brentford's first half, I mean, they were impressive, organized, disciplined, really made Arsenal work for it. What were some of their key tactics? In your expert opinion, of course.
One thing that jumps out is how they use this, what's it called, a narrow defensive block. Basically, they packed the middle of the pitch, forced Arsenal out wide. One of your articles even has a diagram of it.
Okay, so for those of us who aren't tactical masterminds like myself, what does that actually do?
Well, they were cutting off the supply to Arsenal's danger men, like Jesus and Martinelli. Brentford knew that if they could stop Arsenal from playing through the center, it would limit their chances of getting those clear shots on goal.
So like a calculated risk.
Yeah.
Make Arsenal play less directly, hoping they can't adapt.
Exactly. And for a while, for a good chunk of that first half, it worked.
But then obviously something changed. What was the turning point for you?
Arteta's halftime adjustments, I think those were crucial. He saw that Brentford's narrow shape was leaving space out wide, those areas behind the defenders, the wing backs.
So those adjustments, that's what opened up opportunities for our 17-year-old friend.
You got it. Arteta basically told Nwaneri, stay wide, stick to that sideline.
Stretch Brentford's defense out.
And that created space for Arsenal's other attackers to do their thing.
So Nwaneri was like a decoy, almost. Pulling Brentford's defenders out of position, leaving gaps for his teammates.
Perfect way to put it. And it worked like a charm. Brentford's defense, it was stretched thin, and Arsenal finally took advantage. Quick passing, movement, that's how they exploited those gaps.
And both those second-half goals came from those wide areas, right?
Absolutely. That first goal, the corner that Marino scored from...
It all started with Nwaneri's pass into that space behind Brentford's left wing back.
And the second, Martinelli's goal, that was a rapid-fire passing play. Started with Nwaneri out wide and ended with Martinelli putting it in at the far post.
It's crazy to think a 17-year-old kid basically unlocked Brentford's defense.
He played a huge part, no doubt. His positioning, his movement, so smart. Created the space, the chances for his more experienced teammates to capitalize.
Makes you wonder, did Arteta see something in training? Did he know Nwaneri had that tactical awareness?
It's a good question. You gotta think Arteta saw something special to give him his first start in such a big game.
Real faith in young players.
Yeah, that's Arteta for you.
Before we get back to Nwaneri, let's zoom out a bit.
Yeah.
Premier League title race. Arsenal's win closes the gap to 6 points. 6 points, lots of football left to play. Is the race back on?
It's early, Liverpool's a tough team to beat, no question.
Sure.
But Arsenal's made a statement, that's for sure.
They're playing with this, swagger, belief. Haven't seen that from them in a long time.
They've got the talent to back it up, too. Jesus has been fantastic up front. Martinelli, dangerous every time he gets the ball. And Odegaard pulling the strings in midfield.
Looking at the stats here, Arsenal have won their last 5 Premier League matches. They've got momentum. They're not going away.
They're a team on a mission. And you can't underestimate Arteta's leadership. Winning mentality, hard work, discipline, he's instilled it. And the players have bought in.
So you're not saying they'll win the title, but you're not ruling it out either.
Exactly. Long way to go. But if they can keep this up, stay focused...
They have a real shot.
It'll be fascinating, that's for sure.
For sure. What about Brentford? They're sitting comfortably mid-table now, but what are their chances for the rest of the season? Can they keep this up?
They've been a revelation this season, no doubt. Attractive football, well-organized, shown they can compete with the best.
Yeah.
But they're still a smaller club. They don't have the same resources as some of these giants.
So staying in the Premier League is probably the main goal, right? Maybe push for top half if things go well?
I think that's realistic, yeah. Keep developing those young players, make smart signings, keep that team spirit strong. If they can do that, they'll be a force for years to come.
Okay, let's circle back to Ethan Nwaneri. We've talked tactics, passing, his role in breaking down Brentford's defense. But what about the mental side? How does a 17-year-old handle that pressure, playing in a high-stakes Premier League match?
It's incredible, isn't it? Didn't look phased at all. Played with the composure of a veteran,
Like he was born for it. 17 years old, playing in front of thousands, millions watching on TV. That has to be overwhelming.
Absolutely, but he had this calmness about him, demanded the ball, quick decisions, never rushed, never panicked, remarkable mental strength.
Makes you wonder what's going on in his head, you know? What's he thinking? Out there, dictating the play against these seasoned pros, helping his team win such an important match.
Must be a whirlwind, you know? Excitement, nerves, adrenaline. But he channeled it all into a fantastic performance.
It was. And it raises so many questions about his future, right? Was this a glimpse, a preview of what he can do? Or is this it? Is he the real deal? Can he be a key player for Arsenal for years to come?
Big questions everyone's asking them, and we'll dig into those, the bigger meaning of Nwanere's emergence. All that in the last part of our deep dive.
Can't wait. All right, we've really gotten into the nitty-gritty of this match. The tactics, the individual performances, what it means for both Arsenal and Brentford. But now I want to zoom out. You know, look at the bigger picture. Ethan Nwaneri, everyone's talking about him, what he means for the future of English football. So, got to ask, what does a player like him, emerging like this, tell us about youth development in England?
That's the big question, isn't it? And I think, honestly, it's a really good sign. For years, people said English academies, they weren't producing those technically gifted players, the creative types, the ones who could really dominate. But now we're seeing a change.
We are seeing more and more young English players breaking through, that's for sure. What's changed? What's behind it all?
Well, lots of clubs have really put money into their academies, you know, invested heavily. They realized developing their own talent is key for winning and for the financials. And the style of play they're focusing on, it's more technical, more possession-based. That helps develop those creative players, the ones with real technical skills.
It's like they're catching up to those European giants who've been doing it for ages.
Exactly. And we're seeing the results. England's youth teams, they've been successful lately, right?
They have, yeah.
Winning World Cups, European championships at the youth level.
Right.
That's not just luck, it's a sign of real change.
It's a sign of a system that's working.
Exactly. And Nwaneri, he's a product of that. Came up through Arsenal's academy, one of the best in the country, you know? Clear philosophy, top-notch coaches, and they give young players a real shot.
Exciting times for English football fans, no doubt. But let's be real. There are still hurdles, right? Talent's one thing. Breaking into the first team at a big club, getting consistent playing time, that stuff.
Oh, for sure. The competition is fierce. Easy for young players to get lost, especially with all that pressure to win.
Especially with so much money on the line. Feels like it's easier for clubs to just buy a star player instead of giving a young guy a chance.
Yeah, you're right. It's tempting. But I think we're seeing a change in that thinking, too. More and more clubs realize developing your own players, it's good for the long run, good for the club, good for the finances.
It just makes sense financially, right? Cheaper to develop your own players than to buy them.
Yeah.
And if you produce someone like Nwaneri, someone who can perform at that level so young, that's a huge win for the club.
Absolutely. So, yeah, the money part is there, but it's also about creating a path for these kids, helping them reach their potential, you know, giving them the chance to prove themselves.
And that's where the manager is so important, isn't it? A manager who believes in youth, who's willing to give them a shot. That can change everything.
Completely agree. Arteta at Arsenal, perfect example. He's not afraid to play the young guys, and he's built this environment where they can flourish. Nwaneri, he's benefiting from that, no question.
It's great to see. So it feels like English football is at a turning point. Talented youngsters coming up, better development structures, managers who believe in youth.
Exactly. If that keeps going, the future is bright, really bright. We're going to see some amazing players coming out of England in the next few years, I think.
I'm already excited to see it. A thrilling match, a look into the future, and a lot to think about. That's what I love about these deep dives. Thanks for joining me, for sharing your expertise. Always great to chat with you.
My pleasure, truly. These conversations are always so interesting. It's inspiring to see these young talents coming up and leaving their mark.
And to you, our listener, thanks for joining us on this journey. Hope you learned something new, maybe even got some ammo for your next football debate. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep that passion for the beautiful game alive.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.